Hello guys, I thought I'd do a little update I suppose. So it is approaching 1 a.m. on Friday night. That's how I like to spend my Fridays. And I'm back in the unit doing some bits and pieces. So at the minute I'm doing display bits, which I'll show you in a second. I wanted to just talk about what you think with regards to listening to business books. So I listen to 1 to 2 books a week. It kind of depends on, sometimes it's 2 or 3, but it depends on the length of the book. So right now I'm listening to one that's like 27 hours long, so that's like the whole week. And that one, sometimes I'll like re-listen to one a few times, and you always come back to them because you kind of listen to it the first time and then you kind of take bits in, and then when you listen to it again you take a bit more in, that kind of thing. I wonder, do you do the same? I have learned so much in the last year through doing this process. If you listen to any sort of, or if you go onto YouTube like you're on now, and go to any sort of inspirational stuff, etc., listen to other business leaders, they will talk about reading books all the time. And I think, especially doing the process now, it is just absolutely essential because there's just so much to learn. Anyhow, let me show you what's going on. So this at the moment is, well, the mess. I'm going to probably stay until about 2:30, and I'm going to finish this framework. So you can see this scaffold framework at the minute. So what happened was the other day I put up poles and did a top frame, and it was all weak and wobbly. So we've added an extra bracket just down here. So there's 2 brackets at the bottom, and then it's having a mid pole. But really sillily, from my point of view, for this end pole and this pole, I ordered the wrong T brackets. So I've got the 44mm, not the 42mm, whatever it is, instead of 34mm. So I'll have to order the correct and see whether or not it's worth me sending those ones back. What's that? Oh, to order the correct. Oh look, I've got 2 here I can use. I can borrow, because we're going to get rid of this. This desk is going to go. It's sort of served its purpose now, and like things have moved downstairs, so it's not really used anymore. But yeah, so that's getting there. We've got, from the wood veneer hub, we've got this panelling. So this panelling is going to be what the back wall is. So there's meant to be one more panel, and that will be exactly 1800, which is the width of the show space. So that will be the back panel. How that's going to finish, I think it looks quite nice. Hopefully it will give a great effect at night. But yeah, so we had these turn up. There's meant to be 3 packages, only 1 turned up. Hey, crazy to me. But so the couriers are going to deliver on Monday. We've got this temporarily, this sort of stud wall. We see temporarily that I'm having to use this piece of timber to kind of keep it in place at the moment, and there's just one screw that actually goes into the trunking lid in the top portion, not the bit with the 230 volt in, just to kind of keep it in place for now. But this again will be wood veneer, but a bronze finish, acoustic stuff, and then eventually what we'll do is look at having a wall that goes around there and around there as well, and that will be kind of how it finishes. And lights have to be moved, etc. But at the minute I just want it just temporarily in, and the reason I wanted it temporarily in is because as I'm working on this desk, everyone that comes through the door behind me always feels, I don't know whether or not they feel obliged to chat or they want to chat, and sometimes I'm just like, I want to get on. I really like, I like being involved with what's going on, etc. But sometimes when you're in certain processes, it's really hard to get on and do what you need to do. So yeah, so I mean that's the pretty much where we're at in a minute. We've got these plants, these latest ones. I don't know, it's cheese plants. Is it Monserrata? Someone I'm sure will correct me. Amazing finish these. I've got this from Asda. The missus sent me a link. I think they were like £32 each or something like that, maybe £36, but they weren't expensive considering they're 1200 high. So I thought, I'll get 4 of them, give them a go. I really like them. They look really nice. And we're gonna do millboard decking. So we're gonna have a bit of millboard. So it's gonna be along there, along here, and along here, and then this will be one step up. So you'll step up from a diagonal here and step into this space, there'll be a post and a rope to stop you from going any further, and then all the planting, etc., is going to go in there. We're going to have the reason that joist is open really wide there is that there's a quartern water bowl that's going to go in there, and everything's obviously going to be suspended from this level. And the reason we wanted the height was to lose the pots of the plants. But as you can see, it's absolute mess right now, so I'll probably do a video update when I've finished doing this scaffold pole stuff tonight, or at least mostly finished, and show you what's going on. Right, well, it's 2:10 in the morning and I am done. I'm exhausted, and I think that'll do me. But that is the scaffold pole's up. I made a mistake, really annoyingly, so I had to use a joiner to make one of the poles longer. And I want to change, if you look up there, you see the bracket type and the way it is, so I just want to change that and that around at some point. But I mean, that's pretty simple, to be fair, so that's not really a big deal actually. And but I mean, otherwise I'm relatively happy. You can see this wall slightly at an angle. That's because that bracket's there and that bracket's there. It's just the way it is. You're either going to have an angle there or an angle there, unless you put two corners in, which I didn't really want to do. But it's really sturdy now, which is great. Kind of see how that panelling works out. And the fantastic thing is, if you look at the height when it sits on the joist, it comes up above the top of the scaffold pole, so it's full height, which is fantastic. It's exactly what I wanted. So once we get the third one in, I'll use these little brackets, and yeah, and then that will fix to the poles and actually fix those on there. And we just need to, well, get more planting, get the millboard in, get the quartern bowl in, which is actually going to be a live water feature. So there's going to be a water pump and a tank. I've managed to find a tank that fits just under the joist height there. There's another reason why I needed to raise up the floor. And you see this table's now gone. So we weren't using it, and I wanted to reuse some parts for this, and the rest of it's going into storage for later, because what we're going to eventually do is use these scaffold poles to make nice tables, etc., for the kitchen area. I'm sure you know what that kind of thing, you know what I mean. So Monday I've got to sort this mess, because there's a huge amount of mess here, and return those two brackets. But yeah, overall I'm pretty happy. I can get rid of this door now, which is great. But that's it. That's me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you soon.